Hey guys, it's Amanda here. So I wanted to make another video about my son, and like I said before, I want to kind of divide these videos up because there's a lot to talk about. So in this one, I'm going to talk about basically his life from birth to 2 years old. Alright, so I had a normal pregnancy. There were no issues. I had a vaginal birth. I mean, there were no complications or anything like that. And actually I think he scored a 9 out of a 10 on his APGAR scores, which is really, really good. And he was normal size, normal weight, everything. Everything was fine. And, you know, as a new parent, you really don't know what you're doing. It's all trial and error. There are no experts. I don't care how many books you read or how many times you've babysat. When you have your own child, it's completely different because you can't say, oh, well, I'm done. You can go home to your parents or whatever. So, I mean, that can help you prepare, but it's different when you actually have your own child. So, I was very young. I was 20 when I had him, and, you know, I really didn't know what I was doing. I had really never been around babies before. So it was a whole new experience. And when he was a baby, in terms of his milestones, he hit them all early or right on time. So when he was first developing, I thought everything was normal. The only thing that was different, I guess, would be the bonding process. Everyone said, oh, when you have a baby, you instantly bond, and it's this great experience. And you know what? That didn't happen for me or my son. We were two total strangers. And when I would try to comfort him and stuff, it was like I couldn't reach him. I remember one night, I mean, he was crying. I had done everything I could, and he was just crying and crying and crying. And I couldn't, no matter what I did, I couldn't get him to calm down. Actually, he kept crying more. And I spent 3 or 4 hours trying to comfort him. And I was so frustrated and upset that I couldn't do that for him. I asked my mother to help me, and she took him out of my arms, and he immediately stopped crying. That was really a hard thing to deal with because I'm his mother and I couldn't get him to stop crying. And when I would hold him, there was something about the way he looked at me. It was as though he was looking through me, not at me, through me. It was like there was this disconnect, and I didn't understand it. I felt like, okay, what am I doing wrong? You know, why aren't we bonding the way that everyone said we would? Like, what is going on here? You know? So emotionally, I guess things were always not quite right. And like I said, he hit all his milestones either early or on time. His first word was Einstein because he watched the Baby Einstein movies. And I'm like, wow, that's impressive, you know? A 2-syllable word for a little baby, that's awesome. And, you know, he was, other than that, like, emotional kind of thing with us bonding, he was an awesome baby. He, at 3 months, like exactly, he slept through the night, and I stopped having him sleep in my room in his bassinet or with me, and I put him in his crib at night, and he was good. I mean, it was awesome. He was great with other people. I mean, he was always laughing and happy and, you know, just the cutest thing ever. And I didn't really see a problem except for that bonding thing. And then when he turned 1, I started college and he started daycare. And for the first 6 months, everything was fine. No separation anxiety or anything. He liked going there. And then exactly 6 months later, I mean to the day, he started with these behavioral problems. You know, he would just be upset and throw a toy and it hit another kid in the face. And luckily, the parents, they were understanding and they didn't get upset and whatnot. I mean, it was not a good experience to hear that your child hit another kid in the face with, a hard, heavy toy, And I didn't understand it. And some people were like, well, he has separation anxiety. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Why didn't he have separation anxiety the first 6 months that he was here, and then suddenly it shows up? I'm like, I guess that could happen, but I really didn't believe that was the case. And this stuff would only happen at daycare. I'd be called when I was at school and I'd have to go pick him up and stuff like that. And at that time, I wasn't around people that had kids that age, really. So I didn't realize that with his speech, his language, his words, that he was actually behind. I mean, he was saying one-word sentences, which I guess at 1 year old is okay, but as you get closer to 2 years old, they should be saying 2 to 3 word sentences. And he wasn't. He was saying one-word sentences, and he had maybe like a 20 to 25 word vocabulary where ideally it should be more like 50 words, and this is an average and every kid is different, so it's not like exactly 50 words, so don't gauge it on exactly that many. But for his development, he was behind. And when he went to his 2-year checkup, because my doctor would ask about his development and all that, and I said, oh, he's saying this amount of words and one-word sentences, and he was the one that informed me that he should be talking more, saying more. And I said, oh, well, I really didn't know. And he said that, because he's been in the medical field for a very, very long time. He started his practice in like 1975 or something. So he's been in the business for a long time and he's seen a lot of kids over the years. And he's the one that told me that he thinks that he has autism or Asperger's, and that he thinks I should get him evaluated. And he had a place that he could refer me to. And at the time I was like, no, there's nothing wrong with him. I was kind of in denial because I didn't want there to be an added stress, and I actually delayed calling them until about 6 months later. So that's about what's up until 2 years old. He had a speech issue, and because he couldn't communicate the way he wanted, he would freak out. And he learned how to behaviorally get people's attention. So yeah, that's from birth to 2. And I'll just, like I said, I'm going to do these videos in segments because I think it's easier to just give a little bit of information instead of all at once. Oh, and I just want to add that emotionally, this was very difficult for me, because what do you do? How do you process that your child is hurting other children? How do you process that somebody says, oh, I think your child has a mental disorder? It's a lot to process as a parent. And I really didn't know how to deal with that at all. And unfortunately, I kept all that stuff to myself. So I never really dealt with that. But I'll get into that in another video. Alright, so that's it for this video. I hope everyone's doing well. And if you aren't, you have my support. And I will catch you guys later. Bye.